Bridgette, this is really a confusing family dynamic, but tell me a little bit more about what we know regarding the cause of death of Anna Kepner.
Hi, Ashleigh. Yeah, it's very complicated, as you mentioned, this blended family. I do want to address something, though, that was mentioned in that hearing today about the drinking on board. Carnival, I looked it up. They have a policy. It's 21 and up. So, I mean, we can dive into that later, but to my knowledge and understanding, it is 21 and up. So the teens getting a hold of alcohol in international waters, I don't think that really matters as far as Carnival's policy is concerned. And the other thing that you mentioned that came out of that hearing that was so interesting was they were rooming together. So a source close to the investigation says that it was death by asphyxiation with a bar hold. And what that tells me, this is a close contact killing. There was likely some sort of altercation. Of course, this needs to be confirmed by the FBI, which is still being tight-lipped, and the medical examiner's office still not officially giving us that cause and manner of death. We checked in with them this afternoon, and they have not given that to us officially. This is coming from sources. But what this tells me is there may have been some sort of altercation in that room, and it takes at least 30 seconds of constant pressure on the neck for someone to die from asphyxiation with a bar hold.
Wow, I mean, that is really in-depth, that information, which, by the way, it's tricky to get this information. I mentioned this as I was leading up to you, that this is an FBI investigation because it's on international waters. So the FBI is traditionally just so incredibly tight-lipped. But there are other people talking. And I don't know if you know anything about this sort of tack, but the 14-year-old biological brother was reportedly talking to other people, particularly at the celebration of life yesterday. And some reporters have suggested he was talking to the ex-boyfriend of Anna Kepner and releasing all sorts of information about what he knew. And one of the details that we have not been able to track down, but I think the Daily Mail was running with, was that the 14-year-old biological brother could hear a lot of noise and fighting inside the room and was trying to get in the room, but was being barred by the 16-year-old stepbrother. Have you seen or heard anything in that vein of the investigation?
So I have seen some things online from an ex-boyfriend who mentioned a past FaceTime call where this stepbrother had jumped on her. And I think I mentioned this when I was talking to you the other night. These cruise ships, they're so heavily surveilled. So there's surveillance cameras in the hallways, there's in the dining rooms, in the elevators. They're able to track every move that you're making. And I believe, at least on some ships, and I haven't confirmed it with Carnival, but the key cards are going to tell investigators a lot as far as what times they were going in and out of their room, because you have to swipe those cards to get into your room. And that's kind of, you know, your way around the ship. As far as a sibling trying to get in after hearing an altercation inside, I have not independently confirmed that. Lots of chatter online about the relationship between Anna and her stepbrother and possible concerns that she had about him leading up to this.
Yeah, that dad of Anna's ex-boyfriend said there was a severe obsession and that Anna had complained to her ex-boyfriend that her stepbrother was obsessed with her and that he wanted to date her despite the fact they had a family dynamic together. They were step-siblings. Again, this is all hard information to track down given the fact it's an FBI investigation. So this is sort of witnesses, those who gathered at the celebration of life, and of course this ex-boyfriend and his father speaking to reporters. Talk to me a little bit about this return of the ship to port. We learned that Anna's stepmother's report to the custodial hearing was that her son was immediately hospitalized upon the ship docking. Do you know anything more about that? What kind of hospitalization, where he went, who was he with? Was he ever in custody?
I'm not sure if he was ever in custody, but what that tells me, and it's just speculation, of course, this is not confirmed information, this could have been a Baker Act. And here in the state of Florida, if somebody is threatening harm to themselves or someone else, the state can step in and they can put somebody on, I believe, a 72-hour hold where they're being monitored. I'm not saying that's what happened, but I'm saying that's a possibility here. If he was hospitalized once this ship came in, and that will come out later on if that is the case.
Yeah. And I have heard this new reporting also that he's staying, the 16-year-old suspect. I call him a suspect not because police do. I call him a suspect because mom said so. His own mother said in custodial hearings that the FBI informed her that her child is being investigated and could be a suspect in this particular case. But the fact that this child is now staying with a third party, I'm trying to make hay of that as well, because I know that much of the fighting between this stepmother, the mother of the 16-year-old suspect, and her ex-husband has been over their 9-year-old child. And I'm not exactly sure if they're fighting for custody over the 16-year-old as well, given the fact the 16-year-old is staying with some third party. Do you know anything about where he's staying, who this third party is?
It appears he's staying with a family member of the mother. And I think in that hearing, what his biological father is alleging, and his legal team, is that she was allowing, the teenagers to stay in their own room, to drink and everything like that, and that she wasn't necessarily keeping them safe. And it seems like they have had contention in the past. If you look at the court docket, even before all of this happened, there was some back and forth between the parents. As far as, we have the same questions too. When are the charges coming? If he is going to be charged, what will the charges be? FBI still being really tight-lipped. Carnival really giving out the same statement that they've been giving out for the last 12, 13 days. We're really left in the dark here. And to me, it's because this is a 16-year-old. The rules might be a little bit different because he is a minor. I would imagine that he will be charged as an adult given the circumstances if, he is charged with murder. But we'll have to wait and see. And FBI is really not giving out much.
No, and they really typically aren't very helpful when they do their investigations, not to people like us anyway, to reporters. It's always frustrating. I think you would be so much further ahead in getting details if it were Miami PD. You're really well connected there. Bridgette Matter, thank you so much. Really appreciate you joining me tonight. I do appreciate the digging that you've done.
Thank you for having me.
Bridgette Matter joining us from WPLG-TV. And joining me now live is Anna's birth mom, Heather Wright. She's standing by on the phone tonight. Heather, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Heather, I'm so sorry that we're talking under these. I can, yeah, and I'm so sorry that we're talking under these circumstances. I wanted to ask you what you can tell me about the cruise ship coming back into dock, and we were aware that your daughter was offloaded in a gurney from that cruise ship, and that investigators were aware right away. But as I understand it, you weren't told that your daughter was dead.
No, my ex-husband did not try to contact me at all whatsoever to let me know that my daughter died. I found out because I live in Oklahoma, and my youngest son goes to school with a good friend of mine's nephew, and he told her nephew that his sister was murdered on a cruise ship. So I got a text message saying, "Hey, is Anna on a cruise? And you need to find out right away and call me." And I was like, "Do what?" So I called Anna's cell phone. She didn't answer. So then I got a hold of her on TikTok. Well, tried to get a hold of her on TikTok. She still didn't answer. So I started questioning, why is she asking me about that? So I got on my ex-husband's Facebook, where there was nothing on there. So I got on to Cabby, his second wife's Facebook, as the woman that raised my daughter. And there I seen a picture of her car with flowers on it, and Cabby saying they were going to leave it at the high school. for a short time as a memorial for Anna. And so that's when I Googled 18-year-old dies on cruise ship is what I put in the search bar. And that's when my daughter's face popped up all over Google.
I cannot even imagine. Yeah, I just, honest to God, I cannot even imagine finding out about your daughter's death by Googling and not getting a call. And to make matters worse, there was a celebration of life. I'm not sure if it was a full-fledged funeral, but there was some kind of memorial held yesterday. And I'm told that you were banned, that your ex-husband banned you from going. Can you walk me through what happened and what the circumstances were?
He told me that when I told him I was coming down there, he said that that he knew for a fact that Anna would not want me there. And I said, that's a lie. I was like, but whatever. And he goes, if you step foot in Florida, I will have you arrested immediately for back child support.
And so you went anyway, right? Yeah. In disguise?
Of course. Yeah. I wore a wig and I wore some really tall high heels, so that way, you know, if he was looking for somebody short, he wouldn't see me.
And were you able to attend the funeral? Did anyone see you or spot you? Like, tell me what happened next when you got there.
Nobody spotted me. I kind of stayed in the back, close to the door, so if I needed to make a quick getaway, I could. It was really nice. They had a lot of pictures of my daughter. I didn't see her dad, but then again, I wasn't trying to either. I stayed for a little bit, but I didn't stay for the whole thing. My anxiety got too high, and I had to go.
And what? Tell me a little bit about the funeral. What was said about Anna at the funeral?
They just talked about how she was a great kid and she did really well in school. She wanted to join the military. She had a boating license before she was able to get her driver's license.
Do you know anything about the suspect in this case? And I say suspect not because police have said it. It's the 16-year-old stepbrother. Do you know anything about the stepbrother and the dynamic between Anna and him?
No, because I didn't even know that Tabitha and Christopher had gotten a divorce. I didn't even know he remarried. Like I said, Christopher and I do not talk whatsoever, and he made it extremely difficult for me to even have a relationship with my daughter. And the last time I seen my daughter, he again made me look like a piece of shit. So when I was getting on the airplane, I flipped him off and called him a few choice words I probably shouldn't have. And he told my daughter that I was telling her that. I was talking to her. So at that point, Anna kind of stopped talking to me. So I'd call her on her birthday and holidays. That's about it.
On her birthday and holidays. And so to be clear with the viewers about the family tree, you were married to Christopher Kepner. You split with him. He married Tabitha. He split with her but had a child. And then when he split with her, he then met... Say that again?
He has 2 children by Tabitha.
2 children by Tabitha. And then he married Chantel, and they've got 2 kids as well. Or at least she has 2, but they have no natural children between them, correct?
As far as I'm aware of, yeah.
She's got the 16-year-old boy who's considered the suspect in her custody papers and a 9-year-old minor child over whom she's fighting with her ex-husband. But you don't know anything about the dynamic regarding this 16-year-old boy. You weren't even aware that she had this 16-year-old stepbrother?
No, I wasn't. I did find out the other day that I was actually, that my sister was the one that sent me the message that the ex-boyfriend's mother sent her, and I'm the one that put it in the media that she, even though she didn't want it, I thought it needed to be seen about him sneaking into my daughter's room.
Has anyone from the FBI or from the local police, has anyone called you at all to try to get any information or at least inform you of what's going on with the investigation into your daughter's death?
Not that I'm aware of.
And will they take your calls?
I called the number once, and I haven't gotten a call back.
And you and your ex-husband, Anna's father, are not even speaking over the death of the daughter that you share together. Is that correct?
No. Yeah.
It's just heartbreaking. You know, Heather, I'm so sorry that you're going through this, and I really hope that there's some resolution soon and that you're at least given some closure or some information on what's happened in this terrible, terrible tragedy. Thank you for talking to us tonight.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.